Okay, I don't know about you guys, but when I first heard the title of this film, this is all I could think about. Hey guys, welcome to Happywax TV. Okay, rest assured, this movie is not about semi-muscular fat guys slapping each other in the face to win a trophy. Okay, it's something more sinister, and it's just generally depressing that shit like this even happens. But I'll get into that. Okay, I am gonna probably talk spoilers here. Well, not probably, I am. So if you haven't seen the movie, I highly recommend that you watch it. I was extremely impressed with this flick because I don't even like this style of movie. But I really did enjoy this flick and how it was filmed. The acting's on point. It's just, I felt it was a fairly decent movie at getting its point across. To give it a rating, I'd probably give this like a really strong 6.5, maybe even like a 7 out of 10. It's on Shudder now. I highly recommend you watch it. And then maybe after you've done, you're finished watching it, come back here and then give me your thoughts on it. There's lots to talk about, but I'm going to keep it, kind of condensed. So anyways, I am recommending this. Go watch it first if you don't want any spoilers. Okay, so basically the film opens up. We are introduced to Lucas and his brother Tom. Tom's the older brother. We find out through a news article that the family has been in a car accident, the four of them, and the parents have died, okay? So basically Tom has taken on the parental role looking after Lucas so he doesn't have to go into a foster home, and they live in the parental house, which is kind of in the middle of nowhere, out in the forest or countryside or whatever. And it's getting kind of run down, all right? And they make it painfully obvious that Tom is struggling a little bit because he's drinking a lot and stuff. He's just met a girl, okay, and she seems fairly decent, and she spends a lot of time now at the house, cooking, and they're getting along and stuff for the most part, considering they just met. But then we meet Lucas, okay, and Lucas is a loner, okay. He's still trying to deal with the loss of his parents, most notably his mom, okay. And then I don't want to give everything away in this movie, but he does read this thing online about this witch. So, I mean, and I did roll my eyes at this scene because it's very cliche, but it's the typical scene where he goes to this old rundown hospital or whatever it was. He gets there, and it's the old thing where he has a picture of the mom and the dad, digs a little hole, cuts his palm, blood drips on the picture, buries the picture, and then hopefully this witch will cast a spell to bring his mom back. Okay, been done 1,000 times, right? So at this point, I'm kind of rolling my eyes, thinking, okay, here we go. It's just going to be one of these movies, all right? And then a couple scenes later, he's being chased by these 3 girls who are bullies, all right? And they kind of not really catch him, but they yell out and kind of give him like a truce, okay? Saying, yes, okay, you can be in our group, but you have to do a dare, and that is to go in this hospital. The first act of this movie kind of jumps around a lot, and you're just expected to kind of put the pieces together, you know what I mean? But he ends up going into this hospital where he actually performed this ritual, okay? And this is when we're introduced to this witch, okay? They don't waste any time getting the witch on screen, which I did appreciate because it's kind of this old school witch with the long crooked nose, long crooked chin. It's very tall and menacing, which was fantastic because I just did a movie or a review for a movie called Werewolf Castle. And one of my big qualms with that were the werewolves in this movie were the same size as the humans, okay? And they didn't look very imposing at all, which I just kind of detracted from it. But this witch, like, literally looks like it's like 8 to 10 feet tall, okay? It is very big. And that was great. That right there kind of helped the menace of this figure or this creature. There's a scene where he gets chased by this witch, and it picks him up and it starts running, okay? And I thought, okay, I'm interested to see where this is going to go. And then it throws him down because it sees the sun setting, okay? and it just stops and stares at it. And then Lucas gets up after a few minutes of trying to figure out what the fuck's going on, and then he goes and stands beside the witch. And it was at this point that I knew what was going on in this movie, all right? And basically, it's just a creation in his head, okay? But why it's created is the actual horror of this movie, okay? Because he's created this witch to kind of fill in the death of his mom, okay? And it's basically one of these movies where no one else can see the witch when it's doing harm to other people or anything like that. The only person that can see it is Lucas, and then when other people, at the last second when they go to turn to see it, it's not there, okay? Because there's a scene with his brother where he goes to turn around and the witch, backed into the room. There's a scene with the girlfriend where we are given the impression that she sees it, okay? But then at the end of the movie, you realize the witch was never there, okay? Basically, this witch is in his head, and it's just created because he's being bullied, all right? And anyone that he feels that is going to harm him or bring some sort of dislike into his life, it's the witch in his head that is going to deal with it, okay? But they do a fantastic job with this witch, okay, of having it on screen a lot. I really did enjoy the look of it, but it's really obvious that, the witch isn't there. You could figure that out early on. And it was at that point where I said, oh God, I don't like these style of movies where only one person can see the menace and no one else can. I don't really enjoy those. But there was just this thing about this movie where they give you just enough to just make you think maybe the witch is real, okay? But come to the third act, you just know it's all in his head. But the whole thing about this movie is about being bullied, okay? Which is just, that's the horror of this movie. The fact that this kid's being bullied and he doesn't know how to deal with it. He has no one to talk to about this issue. He's being beaten at home by his brother, but they make it look like the Slapface game. He's being bullied by these two twin sisters that chase him around relentlessly and do shit to him. And then even this girl, Moira, who kind of becomes his girlfriend, then she turns on him. And then after they make amends, it's kind of too late. So, I don't want to go... Listen, I already spoiled it. I told you, what it is. But you figure that out, seriously, in the first act, what's going on. But it's credit to the filmmakers for keeping you enthralled and involved in this movie, moving past that point, okay? And it worked. It worked for me, and I thought this movie... It was fantastic. The acting in this movie, pretty much by everyone, is great. The atmosphere of this movie there is at no point any happiness in this movie at all. It is just a sense of dread from really the opening scene, and it's filmed like that with the lighting. It's got this very gloomy, kind of dark grayish browny, just dreadful colors. There's nothing bright about this movie at all because of the subject that it revolves around. There's nothing good about it, and they do a fantastic job of bringing that onto the screen. And I liked it. I mean, I didn't like what happened to this poor kid. That's the actual horror. But I mean, it's just the way they kept it in, you wanting to see what was going to happen next, and if this poor kid's going to get help or how it's going to end. And it doesn't end good. It's got a horrible ending, not in a bad way, but it's just a dreadful ending for this poor kid, for what he has to go through and what's going to happen to him, because he's got no one to turn to. He just absolutely, it's very depressing. So, yeah. I like this movie though. I thought they did a fantastic job of bringing it across like that, using this witch. And it was great. I really did enjoy this movie. So yeah, guys, it's not a very happy movie, but it's not about a bunch of fat guys slapping each other in the face either. So I don't know. I probably shouldn't be laughing about it, but goddamn, definitely watch this movie, guys. It's on Shudder now. Okay, it's called Slapface. I know I didn't touch on every aspect of this movie, so if you've seen it, or I highly recommend that you go watch it. After you've seen it, come back and we'll discuss it more in the comments section. This could be like a 3-hour video if I want to discuss every fucking point of this movie, because there's a lot in here, okay? Anyways, Slapface out now. Guys, if you've seen this one, let me know what you think. If you haven't, by all means, absolutely go watch this flick and then come back here and let me know what you think. And until next time, take care.